grind, unwind. David Miller, Mike Killer, stories intertwined. Color so slick, you'll swear it's a movie. Insightful, delightful, laid back and groovy. Miller time, get ready to roll. David's got the knowledge, gonna stir your soul. Press play, no delay, let's ride this wave. Miller time, prime time, rhythm, healing, crave.
Well, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Hope you've had a great Christmas season as Christmas has come and gone, and hopefully it was a great Christmas for you and your family. Hopefully you had time to rest, relax, be with the people that you love, people that you enjoy to be with, and hopefully Santa brought you some good gifts as well. Hopefully Santa is going to bring some W's here to Atlanta and to the teams of this state. Hey, let's start with the Falcons, which is rare that I start with the Falcons. But hey, Falcons are on a 2-game winning streak, beating Tampa Bay, then beating Arizona. And they're going to be playing on Monday Night Football, prime time Monday Night Football against the Rams and Matthew Stafford. And so can the Falcons get 3 wins in a row? Maybe. But let's just be honest. Let's just pump the brakes just a little bit. You're playing the Rams, who I think are 11-4 right now, second place in their division, but they're still well in their division. They have a chance to continue to win that division and beat the Seattle Seahawks for that first spot in the West. So Rams are playing for a lot here. They're playing for a chance for that number 1 spot in the West because they still got something to compete for, and they're going to come into Atlanta. And they're still it's a team with Kirk Cousins, Drake London back, Bijan. They can be dangerous, and they have weapons to be dangerous at times. And let's be honest, Kyle Pitts playing out of his mind right now, and which is expected. It's funny how it's a contract year, and he's playing really, really well. And he'll get broke off at some point at the end of the season, but it probably won't be here in Atlanta because we just don't pay players here in Atlanta for some reason. So, but you got weapons to make a game on prime time against the Los Angeles Rams. So we'll see. I don't expect the Falcons, though, to win. If we're being honest, I think the Rams are a better team. They're playing for much more. This is almost it's a must win for them. If they want to get that 1 spot in the West and they want to win that division, they got to beat the Falcons. And I think it's a game they should probably win. Falcons are outmatched, and so I expect the Rams to win. Plus, if we're also being honest, the Rams want to beat the Falcons because if you remember, the Rams get the Falcons' first round pick this year. And so they want the Falcons to fall as low as they possibly can because that's only going to help them as well with that first round pick. Because remember, we traded back in the first round this year to get James Pierce. And so the Rams get our first round pick for next year. So beating us would actually help them in 2 ways. It helps them get closer to maybe winning the West and winning that division, but it also helps them in their draft spot because now, Falcons are going to fall a little bit lower and get a better draft pick for the Rams. And then as I'm reflecting back, this season's about to be over for Atlanta. What could have been? Like, you're seriously going to let the Carolina Panthers win this division? Who had that on their bingo card? The Carolina Panthers are going to win this NFC South? Unbelievable that the Falcons allowed that to happen. And I don't know if it's the talent. I don't know if it's the coaching, or I have a suggestion of who it could be. I think it's absolutely coaching because there's talent on the field, and we've seen it in spurts, but it's just not consistent enough. So Falcons, once again, find ways to lose games and find ways to lose a division, which is by far probably the worst division in all of the NFL. And you're going to allow the Carolina Panthers to win this division. Another reason why Arthur Blank, whether you get this committee, this search committee that you're coming up with or whatever it is, they need to look at it. That's all you need to see. This committee, that's all they need to see is the Falcons allowed the Carolina Panthers to win this division, and a chance for Atlanta to do, like, a lot of people had Atlanta winning the division this year. because they had better talent on the field. They just didn't have better coaching, and it showed later in the season in these one possession games, right? Falcons just could not cut the mustard. And what I'm worried about is now the Falcons have been on a 2-game winning streak. If they were by some chance able to beat the Rams on Monday night and get a 3-game winning streak, maybe even finish the season with 4 games, 4 wins in a row, is that enough for Arthur Blank to look at Raheem Morris and say, well, we finished on the right foot. Let's continue this path and let's give Raheem Morris another opportunity next year. That's my fear. That is my fear, because that's how you could spin the narrative that, hey, 1, 2, 3, 4 in a row here at the end, on the right track. Well, we say that every year. You have spurts where you win 2 or 3 games in a row. And then you have spurts where you lose games against teams that you have no business losing games. Jets, right? You should never have lost that game. The Dolphins at home got blown out. You can't lose those games. So for everything you do well, and for every 2 or 3 steps you take forward, you take 4 or 5 steps back. And that's been this organization since inception in the 60s. So my fear is they're going to do just enough to keep Raheem around for another year, which means next year will be the same over and over and over again. So that's the Falcons. But hey, we're getting close to the new year, which means it is time for another round of the college football playoffs. We got 4 games. 4 games this weekend. Starting out, I think, is Ohio State and Miami. So looking at that game, Miami, their defense looked great against Texas A&M, but their offense, no. You're only able to get 1 touchdown, 10 points total against Texas A&M. And I have a feeling, as good as Miami's defense is, and I do think their defense is really good. It's probably their strongest, strongest department on the field. They just can't score enough points to keep up with what Ohio State is doing, right? I expect Ohio State to win this game. I expect them to score in the 30s at least, maybe in the 40s, I don't know, but at least in the 30s. And I don't think Miami can keep up with that, not with Carson Beck. And I think Carson throws at least 1, maybe 2 picks in this game, and their season comes to an end. Now, it would be great. The narrative would be great if by chance Miami does beat Ohio State, because then their next game could be against the Georgia Bulldogs, where Georgia has a chance on New Year's Day, the night game, the last game of the college football playoffs for this round. They're the last game. They're the 8 o'clock game. So honestly, it'll probably start closer to 9. You get a chance to get Ole Miss again, this time without Lane Kiffin. And I'll be interested to see what the layoff has done for the Dogs. Do they still look sharp on defense like they've done the last 4 or 5 games? Going back to me, that Mississippi State game where you finally got right. And then all of a sudden, you hold Texas and Arch Manning to 10 points, and then you hold Haynes King in that offense to 9 points, only 3 field goals for them. Then you hold Alabama to just 1 touchdown. So the defense is peaking at the right time. Can we keep that momentum going into a game against Ole Miss? You've had some time to get healthy now. You were probably game planning for Ole Miss this entire time. You did not expect Tulane to win that game. So you were preparing for Ole Miss the entire time without Lane Kiffin. They still put up 40-something points against Tulane. So their offense is still pretty good. They still got the same players, guys. They got the same players that scored 5 straight touchdowns against Georgia in Athens. So this is not a cakewalk by any means for anybody who thinks that it is. Do I think Georgia should win this game? I do think they should. Their defense is a lot better. It's much improved. And if they can do what they've been doing over the last few weeks in the last month of football, then I think they can handle their business against Ole Miss. But that offense is legit. And remember, that offense in Athens went 5 straight scoring touchdown drives against that defense. And for a long time, we had no answers for them, right? Hopefully that has changed. Hopefully Glenn Schumann and Kirby has gotten their defense back on the right track. It looks like it. And we can beat Ole Miss. And if we were to beat Ole Miss, you get the winner of Miami and Ohio State. It'd be great if it was Miami. That's the great narrative, right? Carson Beck against his former teammate, Georgia Bulldogs. But like I said, I don't think Miami can beat Ohio State at all. So we'll be, in my opinion, Georgia versus Ohio State in one semifinal game. The other one, very interested in the Rose Bowl here, Indiana and Alabama. I really, it's a toss-em for me because I keep thinking, like, is Indiana real, right? Now, what they did against Ohio State in the Big Ten Championship, that was real. Beat them 13-10, held that offense down to just 10 points. So that defense did a really good job. Can they keep Alabama at bay? We'll find out. If I had to pick one right now, I'm probably going Indiana. I think they're just a more complete team right now than Alabama, and I expect Indiana to win their Rose Bowl to set up another semifinal game. And probably, if I had to guess, I'm going to pick Oregon over Texas Tech. I think Texas Tech is a really good team. I just think Oregon has better players, and those players tend to show up in big games. So then for me, you got Oregon versus Indiana on one side, and then you got Georgia versus Ohio State on the other side. And the winner of those two games play for a national championship. So looking forward to this great week of football, and looking forward to the new year and what is to come of the new year. So let's get into our verse of the day. So I was reading the other day in Mark, and this verse stood out to me, so I wanted to bring it to our attention. This is in Mark chapter 8, verse 27. Jesus and his disciples went on to the village around Caesarea Philippi. On the way, he asked them, "Who do people say that I am?" And they replied, "Some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and still others one of the prophets." "But what about you?" he asked. "Who do you say I am?" And Peter replied, "You are the Messiah. You're the Christ." And I think the answer to that question is everything for us. Who do you say Jesus is, right? Who do you say he is? Peter said, "You're the Christ. You're the Messiah." And as we go into this new year, 2026, I want to challenge you to answer that question. Answer the question, who do you say Christ is? Who do you say Jesus is? Is he the Lord of your life? Is he the Messiah? Is he the Christ? That's an important question that we all have to answer one day. And I hope you can get the answer to that soon. Well, that will do it for this episode. So thankful for you and for you to tune in. And so remember this, you can only do two things today: love God and love one another. But if you can only do one thing today, love someone the way that Christ has loved you. Thanks again.